Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A. The 12th Q&A, of course, with us. You guys may know us as the British Fist.
Gotcha.
You may also know me as Mr. Parkin, and you will most definitely, know this guy next to me as NJ.
What's up?
What's up, NJ? What's up to you guys out there? Before we go into this video, though, make sure you guys subscribe up above, as NJ is showing you. Like this video, as you always do, and comment your thoughts on this Q&A down below. And make sure you keep sending your questions in also, as NJ will tell you now.
And make sure you send them in the links in the screen box below.
Yeah, get us in YouTube inbox, comments down below, or on facebook.com/BritishFist. That's where you can send in your questions to our continuing Q&A series. Now, the question today comes from Sheldon Fernandez. His YouTube is Mr. Trick One. We'll link it in the description box below for you guys out there. And his question was, if you guys have to book Raw and SummerSlam, if you guys have to book Raw and SmackDown till SummerSlam, how would you do it? I made a mistake there, but I made up for it, didn't I?
Yeah.
What we're going to be doing here is we're going to be basically booking the feuds that we would think going into SummerSlam. We've got 10 feuds. We've got a couple from Raw, a couple from SmackDown, and a couple interbrand ones. And basically, this video will be released after SummerSlam, as our 12th Q&A will be released 2 weeks after SummerSlam. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do our own booking, and it'll be interesting to see how we booked it compared to how WWE booked it, so we can see the results of what happened at the end.
And all I'll say is, because of the new Rise and Raw and SmackDown, it looks like we'll be in competition with our great booking compared to their great booking.
Can I just say one thing, NJ? We spent a lot of time doing this, didn't we?
It took us some time.
So, should we just get onto this damn video and then show our booking brains what they're made of?
Let's go for it.
Yeah. So first, NJ, I think we should start off with the Raw feud, seeing as the Raw is the #1 show, and the first feud that we would book is a Rey Mysterio versus John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio WWE title match at SummerSlam, with Alberto Del Rio being the champion. Now, as we all know, Raw have just had this tournament, so in the second week, I think we should just concentrate on getting this tournament finished, getting a new title holder, and we think for this one it would have to be Rey Mysterio, just because we want Del Rio to cash in his Money in the Bank on him, and Cena's Del Rio is heel. It would make more sense for him to cash it on the face, and also Miz is already involved in the rivalry, so it makes sense for Rey to win this, really, doesn't it?
And like, the thing I look at, everyone's going to be happy that Rey's won.
Yeah.
There are many fans out there that still see the greatness in Rey, especially, yes. So I say, when they see Rey win, even though he might not hold it for long because of what comes next, I think it will just be good for the business side there. And then we'll have Alberto Del Rio, the clever-minded, wait for the right moment, takes up the small guy Rey Mysterio, who I think would have had a good match against Miz.
Yep, and he cashes in his Money in the Bank to win the WWE title. So it kind of sets him up for what we want to have at SummerSlam. Also gets him over more as a heel, as he's kind of done this cheap winning tactic against Rey Mysterio, especially seeing as WWE want to make him the top heel on Raw soon, which I don't blame him because he does have a big future in WWE.
He does.
Yep. And then for the third week, after all this happens, Del Rio's obviously ends the champion. He'll begin the night with a promo of some sort announcing he's the champion. It was his destiny. And then also we would have Rey basically come out and say he wants his rematch for the unfair victory. Obviously, the Money in the Bank cash-in is a cheap way of winning. It's a good way to get Rey Mysterio sort of back into the title hunt as well. So have Rey announce that he wants to go after the title again, and then also have Triple H announce that Cena will be involved too, because we think that he's going to be. We're going to have Cena. We've got to have Cena involved at the main event at SummerSlam. It's got to happen, or else it's just not going to be a good match.
Because like with Rey, the way I see it is, little Rey, he's just got the WWE Championship after however long he's not had it. So I think he's not going to just think, well, I've lost, that's it. I think he's going to want to be back in the picture, so why not have him try and get back involved with it again? And then there's, of course, like John Cena. He has to get involved, so obviously he's...
Because we want to set up a Cena Del Rio program afterwards, so we have to get him involved somehow, don't we?
And he's still WWE's favourite, so...
What would have is we'd have Triple H come out and assert his authority on the third week of Raw, before SummerSlam, and then make a #1 contendership match between Rey and Cena. That would kind of make sense, wouldn't it? Rey won the championship, Triple H wants Cena to get involved, so make a #1 contendership match. But we would have Del Rio interfere in this main event and do the typical, oh, there are no #1 contenders because I've just got you both disqualified. But then the GM would announce that it would be a triple threat match because of Del Rio's actions at SummerSlam. Rey versus Cena versus Del Rio for the WWE title.
Because that'd be a perfect match, because obviously...
You need to get Rey involved and John Cena involved, so it seems like the perfect things to do.
That's true, because we've just had like Rey Mysterio versus John Cena, which needed to happen, I think, because obviously them two are both the competitors to go for the championship. And then we have Alberto Rio just spoiling it all for them, but then obviously the plan gets backfired, and leads up to the match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, and at the main event at SummerSlam, I mean, this probably will be the main event. If you have Del Rio go up against your two monster babyfaces and win on Raw and win like we'd want him to do, it really gets him over as a champion for a lot better. So you have your two monster babyfaces, two top babyfaces in Rey Mysterio and John Cena going after the title. So you can kind of establish Del Rio then as a champion, even though he's just cashed in Money in the Bank. Fourth week though, we'd have a tag team match, wouldn't we?
It would.
WWE seem to like to do these, so why not do one ourselves?
And I think the good thing about tag teams is that they get everyone involved ready for the event, so I think it's good.
So basically what we'd do is Alex Riley and John Cena versus Miz and Del Rio, combining two rivalries there, which we will do. We'll go on to the Riley and Miz rivalry afterwards. We'd have this as the main event. The heels will come out on top to make Miz and Del Rio look strong going into their matches. We'd also have Ray versus Swagger as well, wouldn't we? Just to get Ray involved and Ray looking strong. Get him going against someone like Swagger, who's not going to be involved with the pay-per-view.
No, because of all the wrestlers that's on Raw, I think everyone else needs to be saved or needs to be looking okay and decent and that.
Mm-hmm.
But Jack Swagger, he don't really care much about him anymore, so if it gets buried by Ray winning, it's just a good win for him.
So you have Del Rio and Ray looking strong, Cena looking weak going into the pay-per-view. This will set up for what I feel is a good pay-per-view match. What we'd have here is we'd have Del Rio pinning Ray at SummerSlam in the triple threat match, so Cena and Del Rio can then continue a program, and that can be done because that seems to be the way WWE want to go down the road. Have John Cena, their monster babyface on Raw, go against their top heel Del Rio on Raw. So that seems to be the perfect way to sort of set that up, doesn't it?
So it basically leads into a good SummerSlam match.
Yeah, and a good program afterwards as well between Cena and Del Rio.
Which I think, again, at the moment, Alberto Del Rio is just stepping into this main event game stuff. So I think to have him in a feud with John Cena would do great for Del Rio, because obviously if you have Del Rio holding on to his WWE Championship against Cena, it'll definitely lift up his career.
And he needs that title because he has been built up well for it, so he does definitely need that title. And if he beats John Cena, like Andrew said, it'll give him credibility. So yeah, should we move on to our next match then, NJ?
Yeah, let's.
The second feud we have on Raw, which would go into SummerSlam, would be Alex Riley versus The Miz. Now, this is one of those feuds that has already been kind of done. It's a natural feud, as we've seen in the last 2 months. In the second week, though, Miz is already involved in the main event, so you need to give Alex Riley something to do. So I don't like saying this, but have him beat Drew McIntyre in a match just to keep his push going. Drew McIntyre's buried anyway, so.
Because the main problem we had was we would look at the Raw roster and thinking, who could we have Alex Riley against? Everyone else that's either doing something or just absolutely non-existence.
I guess we could have him beat Jack Swagger, or something like that. But who knows?
We just
any heel really that he can beat. We were considering maybe Riley getting involved in the main event somehow between Miz and Ray, but we kind of went against that idea in the end, just because we wanted the title to feature out on its own rather than have Alex Riley involved. So that would have been a way we could have gone down there to expand the rivalry, but just keep it simple for now because the rivalry's already been pretty heated. So
pretty much there, yeah.
So we go on to the third week. What we'd have here is we'd have Alex Riley, because we know he's good on the mic, get him cutting a promo saying that he's better than The Miz, kind of like Daniel Bryan did against The Miz in NXT, that he's better than The Miz, that he can beat him and all that.
Because the thing is, we all like Alex Riley on mic, so I think adding that, leading to their match at the SummerSlam, I think it'll be good, because obviously we know Alex Riley is good on mic, so it would definitely be good.
Alex Riley says, to prove that I'm better than you, I want to challenge you to a match at SummerSlam, and he wants to prove himself against The Miz. The Miz will obviously come out, do his usual promo stuff, because he's very good on the mic too, saying that he accepts, but on one condition, that it's a street fight. So you have your match ready for you have your match pretty much announced for SummerSlam, street fight between Miz and Riley then.
Because out of all the matches, I think these two could really go out in a street fight and be able to probably round up their rivalry in a match like that.
It's a perfect match for them to end because obviously the rivalry is very heated, so this is a perfect match for them to really vent their frustration on each other. You can have Alex Riley win the match at SummerSlam, have him get his comeuppance on Miz, have Miz go off and maybe go for the title at a later stage, have Alex Riley let him build himself up maybe in the mid card to the upper mid card ready for a main event push later on sometime, I guess.
Even though the important with this is it's a weapon usage match.
Yeah.
We would like to see Alex Riley's skills get shown without using weapons. So we mainly have Miz doing all the cheating ways and using weapons, and Alex Riley trying to look all clean and strong in that.
Yeah, and in the fourth week, on the go-home show, like we've booked Riley and Cena versus Miz and Del Rio, and like we said before, the heels will come out on top. So Miz will beat on Riley or something like that after the match. That he'll look strong. He needs to look strong because he hasn't really looked too strong Yeah, apart from beating Riley on Raw once.
Yeah.
So we need to make him look strong going into the pay-per-view. So so Alex Riley looks like an underdog going into the pay-per-view. So when he wins, the crowd's really behind him, and WWE actually can draw some fucking money from this match.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully this match will end their rivalry. We street fight. Give it 10-15 minutes. And it should be a good match.
I think they all want to see another Alex Riley Miz match just because they can put on a good fight against each other.
So we've built up their rivalry, we've set up the match in good time to give it some build, and we've had them involved on the Go Home show. So that's how pretty much we book it. Shall we go on to the next rivalry, NJ?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So the third rivalry on Raw that we would have booked for SummerSlam would be R-Truth versus John Morrison. As we know, John Morrison will probably be returning soon, and R-Truth really doesn't have too much to do. This match is a match in the making, in my opinion, for SummerSlam. So this is why I think I would try and set up this feud by getting R-Truth in the second week to sort of cut a promo saying how he's been cheated at the WWE title, that he's bloody, the conspiracy theory. Do his usual heel promo talking about conspiracy theories and stuff.
And I think when it comes to him talk about like how he's been mistreated and that, I think that'd be an awesome time for, as we said, a video package of Morrison to interrupt him.
Yeah. Well, just a John Morrison return package saying that he'll return next week.
Yeah, that's
just during the promo itself, possibly. Maybe even afterwards.
I think during it would be good because then obviously it's interfering, it's interrupting R-Truth, and he's saying that would make his. And
he can make you angry.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've pretty much got here R-Truth announcing his frustrations, and then we got John Morrison announced. We got something announcing John Morrison's return, which is next week. So we can get ready for the big return next week, which we'll go on to now. The third week, we would have John Morrison returning from his injury and a promo segment saying how he's not done with R-Truth, how he wants a rematch at SummerSlam as revenge on his 2 attacks that he's done. He just basically wants to get at R-Truth in any way or possibly can.
Because we wouldn't have too much confrontation between these two, because we want to keep it simple for them and then lead it onto the pay-per-view.
It allows John Morrison to recover from his injury a little bit more. And also, they don't need to touch yet, do they? Because they've already had a heated rivalry.
And I think over time, you've seen these two be friends, fall out. So I think it's already there. And all you really need them is to announce their match, really.
Yeah. So this promo segment will pretty much announce their match. R-Truth will come out and say, oh, I thought I got rid of you, and, all that kind of stuff, saying that he will gladly accept the match and, kick his ass. And he says, you're going to get gat! And all that, blah, blah stuff that he would come out and say usually. Yeah. And the match is there, it's accepted. So there we got the match announced 2 weeks prior, so we can have the next week to build the match. That's pretty much what this promo would be done for.
That is true, and nothing but the truth. Yeah,
and then the fourth week, then I think it'd be a good idea because John Morrison has just returned, and we think he's definitely going to win this match, his return match at SummerSlam. So what we want is to make R-Truth look strong. So R-Truth looks strong by attacking John Morrison or something, while John Morrison is in some sort of match. So the heel in that case comes out on top, so the face looks like an underdog going in. So so it draws money when John Morrison actually wins. The crowd can actually get behind him because they all think R-Truth is going to win because he's just previously attacked him. Maybe even play some sort of small injury angle on there as well with his knee or something.
I think I'll try and avoid injuries. I think we need John Morrison to come out looking strong, just so the match looks a bit more ready and John Morrison's ready to face R-Truth and get his revenge.
Would you have this as a singles match, or would you have it as some kind of blowout match?
Singles match.
Just a singles match, so they can carry on their rivalry?
Just for a start, welcome back, nice easy match.
Yeah, a nice return at SummerSlam is always good to have. So that's how we'd book the R-Truth John Morrison match, which John Morrison would definitely win on his return to WWE. Shall we go on to our inter-brand rivalries now, NJ?
Let's go for it.
Let's go. So one title we know that is inter-brand is the Divas title, and yes, we are going to book a Divas title match. What we'd want to do here is we want to book a program between Beth Phoenix and Kelly for the Divas title. What we'd do first here, we'd have Kelly with Beth Phoenix, as they're both faces and they both won the tag match together the week before. We'll have Kelly beat Brie Bella, who's there with Nikki Bella, in a match of some sort, to keep her push going, just so she looks stronger into next week where we book a tag team match.
Because at the minute, we've seen Beth Phoenix looking a bit unsure and a bit ready to go for the championship.
And we want to get Brie Bella out of it as well,
We do. I'm thinking, bring back the old Divas, the Divas that we used to like watching. And I think Beth Phoenix would be the perfect example. So I think this would be a good start running up to it.
And on the third week, what we do is we book a tag team match between Beth Phoenix and Kelly versus the Bellas. It kind of makes sense, as all four of them were involved in the match previously that Kelly won. And what we'd have here is we'd have Kelly get the win after Beth Phoenix hits her finisher or something. And then we'd have them celebrate in the ring together. And then at that moment, Beth Phoenix turns heel, because she does play a great heel. She'll celebrate in the ring with Kelly and attack her from behind and basically just say that she wants her title back.
The thing is, we all love Beth Phoenix.
Yes.
But she plays a much better heel. So I think her turning heel, ready to face Kelly at SummerSlam, would be perfect for her and for the match.
Yep. So here you've established Beth Phoenix heel turn, and you've also established that there is going to be some sort of title match at the pay-per-view. Maybe it'll be announced on WWE.com. Maybe they'll announce it as part of the TV programming. But make sure there's a Beth Phoenix versus Kelly match announced either this week or next week. For the fourth week, we would have Beth Phoenix beat Eve Torres or something in a squash match just to make her look strong. You've had Kelly look strong. Now let Beth Phoenix look strong going into the pay-per-view, and then she'll cut a promo afterwards saying, you know, Kelly isn't worthy to hold the title, that she's a model diva or something like that. Kelly saying that she herself is a proper diva, she's a proper wrestler, and that she's going to beat Kelly at SummerSlam and retain what's rightfully hers.
Because what we need to do is bring out the heel, the old Beth Phoenix back out. So
the Glamazon.
Yeah, that's true. We need to have her win matches dominantly. We need her to start making her sound like she's the dominant diva in the WWE.
Yep.
So I think this promo right before the SummerSlam would be awesome for her.
And either next week or this week, announce the match ahead of time, because we don't want a last-minute match, do we?
No.
Do we hate those? Should we go on to our next interbrand match then, NJ?
Whoop-de-doo, yes.
So based on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, I think the next feud that we'd need to book is Mark Henry versus Big Show. As we've seen, Mark Henry injure Kane before we recorded this video on the 24th of July. So it seems that Big Show is the more likely candidate to face him over Kane, really, doesn't it?
And the thing is, we both look at it and think he took out Big Show and Kane, but having a monster Big Show versus a monster Mark Henry would make a better match.
Yeah, we don't really want to get Mark Henry involved in the main event or anything, but we would want him to sort of keep his feud going with Big Show. You know, Big Show's injured now, so what we'd have in the second and third week is have Mark Henry destroy a jobber in the second week, have him destroy Orton in the third week, as you'll find out later in our main event booking between Christian and Orton. And basically on the fourth week, on the go home show, we'd have Big Show return in a Mark Henry match, like not 100% with his leg bandaged up or something. Basically, we'll have Big Show come in and beat on Henry, and Teddy Long coming out saying they'll set it at SummerSlam and the last man standing.
Because at the minute we've had Mark Henry being the one who's been built up to this monster in the WWE, and I'm still thinking we can continue making him look strong, like he has with jobbers and Orton, like we've said.
But give Big Show his moment as well.
Big Show needs his moment. So I think when he returns, he's going to need his big last moment leading to the pay-per-view.
So you have an announced match prior to the pay-per-view, even though it's on the last week. You've established a Big Show return. You've established the fact that he's injured, so you know you can play on the fact that he's injured. He comes in as an underdog, of course, when he's injured. You've already made Mark Henry look strong, so it's a kind of a good thing to do. You've had the underdog face and the dominant heel, and I think in this match you would probably make Big Show win, wouldn't we?
Because the thing is, we've seen how great Mark Henry can keep wrestlers down, so I think we're all going to go into the match probably thinking, Mark Henry's being the one who's growing
the last man standing match,
so he could probably be the one who's going to end up winning. But obviously, we're going to have Big Show come in, dominate, and get his revenge.
Yep. Two big men in the last man standing match. I think that would be a very interesting feud. So, should we go on to our next feud then?
Mm-hmm.
So we'd also book a tag team title match. Yes, WWE and people out there, we would book a tag team title match just because we don't want to see the tag team division die. We'd book Nexus versus, who are the champions at the moment, versus Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne in a tag team title match. Now, you're probably wondering why we would have Kofi Bourne. That'd be a good tag team name, Kofi Bourne. Kofi Kingston and Evan Bourne in a tag team. Well, let's face it, they're not doing too much on Raw at the moment, so why not stick them in the tag team division? Add an extra tag team in there. I know it's a bit random, but them two could probably work together. They have very similar styles and they're both faces.
That is very true. The thing is, we need to get more tag teams into WWE. Yep. So I think WWE should take these risks or ideas and put two random wrestlers together.
Yep.
Why not put Evan Bourne, who's a high flyer and good in the ring, versus Kofi Kingston, who has done great in the WWE in the past, back into a title kind of match.
Yep. What we'd do here, I mean, there's not really much we can do because the tag team division really doesn't have that many tag teams. It's kind of difficult to really find out a way how to be. We could do it a complicated way, like have a tournament or something. There's not really enough tag teams. So I think what we'd do is have WWE.com announce a number one contendership match on Smackdown or even on Raw between Kofi Kingston, Evan Bourne, and the Usos, just because the Usos have been doing well on Smackdown, I feel. And we'd have Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston win it, so they're the number one contenders.
Good.
So there we've established who the number one contenders are, so we can start building to the match at the pay-per-view with Nexus.
That's true, yeah, because I think Nexus haven't really faced a new team like this, so I think it would put on a good match.
And a pre-announced tag team match would be very rare in WWE, so that's why we're going to do it, brother.
That's true.
And then on the 4th week, we would have a singles match on Raw between Evan Bourne and Michael McGillicutty, just so you don't have all of your guys quite going in yet. We'd have it end in a disqualification though when Otunga comes in the ring and also Kofi Kingston interfere, and all four of them scramble in the ring. Yeah. It'll just be an interesting way to sort of go into a tag team match.
Then they're all looking strong. Yeah. Not one team's looking strong. They're all looking strong. Yeah. They're all batting it out.
Yeah. So Nexus versus Kofi and Kingston and Evan Bourne. To be honest, I would probably make Nexus lose this because they just suck. Go back to SCW.
It would be good to give face to tag champs. Yeah. And it would be good to see how long they can. What the WWE can actually do with these 2 new tag champs.
Yeah, definitely. So shall we go on to our next interbrand match, the last one we're going to be doing now?
Yes.
The next interbrand feud that we would book would be between Daniel Bryan and Dolph Ziggler. And it's simply because you've got Daniel Bryan there, who's the Money in the Bank winner, and you've also got Dolph Ziggler there, who's the US champion. And we need something for them both to do. We couldn't really find any other way to book them, so we thought, because they had a great match at Bragging Rights, why not have another match at SummerSlam and just put on pretty much the same match as they did? We'd have Daniel Bryan win this mainly because he's the Money in the Bank winner, and Dolph Ziggler is the US Championship, and that championship means nothing now. So
no, it's a bit of a shame because Dolph Ziggler, again, when he got the push, you thought he was going to go with somewhere, but I think Daniel Bryan's the one you've got to look out for.
You'd rather have the Money in the Bank guy win it. Who's going to cash in at WrestleMania 28 than Dolph Ziggler. You start his push. You started building him up as a credible main event guy at some point. What we'd have here in the 2nd and 3rd week, we'd have Daniel Bryan winning matches and Dolph Ziggler winning matches after being the US champion and stuff. So it kind of leads on to the go home show where Dolph Ziggler will come onto SmackDown. He'll interrupt a Daniel Bryan promo. Daniel Bryan can be talking about him when he's going to his Money in the Bank thing, and it doesn't really matter as long as it's a promo. And then Dolph Ziggler would say something along the lines of, "Oh, I never got my opportunity at Money in the Bank. Oh, I'm better than you. You won it, but I'm better than you. I know I can beat you." And then we can have someone like Teddy Long come out and saying, "Dolph, you can prove yourself against Daniel Bryan because I'm putting you in a match again at SummerSlam."
Because the thing is, we think Dolph Ziggler is better on SmackDown, so getting back on there doing his thing. And I think for him to go against someone that is just winning an important match would probably lift up Dolph Ziggler again, and it would do good for Daniel Bryan to just win the match. And this will be a filler match really, so it doesn't really need too much build. So just let them go at it in a good match, good 10-15 minute match probably at the pay-per-view. It doesn't really, like I said, it doesn't really need much build. As long as you pre-announce it on the SmackDown before, then it should be there. It should be fine. So I say, should we go on to our next? Go on to the SmackDown feuds, MJ. We're actually going to book more than 2 SmackDown feuds for this, though, aren't we? We are.
So, down to our SmackDown feuds. Right, one thing we'll definitely do here is we'll definitely book some fucking storylines because it's something that SmackDown doesn't do apart from their main event. So, I guess we'll start off with the main event then. As a SummerSlam, I think Christian would go up against Randy Orton in a World Heavyweight Championship match, seeing as it does seem like WWE are going down that route.
And we all know when someone loses their championship, they get a rematch, so it makes sense that Orton's going to get it.
What we'd want to do here is, as they didn't do it on the first week, we want to establish the fact that they're going to have a match in the second week. We'd have Orton coming out, cutting an opening promo, saying that he wants a match against Christian now because he's angry and he wants to take his frustration out on him.
And we all know Orton's good at opening shows. So.
Yeah. Good one, MJ. Yeah. Then we'll basically have Teddy Long coming out. I know we don't like Teddy Long coming out, but this is the only way we can do it. Teddy Long coming out saying that he will get his match, but not now, that it'll be at SummerSlam. So basically what we get there is the match made. The match is made. We can have the rest of it. We can have Orton or Christian in a competition later on in the night at some point. The match is just established, so you can then, in the 3rd and 4th week, help build towards the match. That's just basically what I want to get out of the way. The match is made.
That is what we need because it gives us still 2 more weeks for the rivalry to build a little bit more the pay-per-view.
Yeah, okay. So in the 3rd week then, basically what we'd have is we'd have a Mark Henry versus Orton main event made, whether it's through WWE.com or through the opening segment. Basically what would happen here, we'd have Mark Henry win the match by disqualification and injure Orton. Basically what we'd want to do here is we want to make Orton look like an underdog, so give him an injury, a bandaged injury, make him look like an underdog going into his match against Christian, so we can actually, instead of just being booked like a monster, we can actually booked as an underdog like a face should against a heel like Christian.
Because the interesting thing is, Mark Henry is rapidly moving himself up in SmackDown.
So it makes sense to include him in this, doesn't it?
Yeah, so to have him against Orton, I think Orton against Mark Henry doesn't sound like the best match, but with Mark Henry building his way up, it would put on a good match.
He's taken out Kane now, he's taken out Big Show, so why not have him take out Orton as well?
Yeah.
It builds him going into the Big Show match as well, by not really affecting the main event too much.
And again, it'd be unexpected. You'd think Orton would somehow come over the top of this, but to have Mark Henry do it, that's a new thing.
But we're not Michael P.S. Hayes or Ed Koskey, we are the British Fist, so we're going to book Orton weak here. We'd have Christian coming out after this attack and ending the show above Orton with his title, saying, good luck at SummerSlam, Randall, or something like that.
Yeah, he needs to hear that.
And then he would end the show. That's what we want. We want Christian to end the show on top. That's how we want that show to end. We'll move on to the go home show. The go home show. What would have happened is we'd have, after these injuries Randy Orton's got, we'd have Teddy Long announcing that Orton will have the night off due to his injury because he can't compete, and then he'll do his usual. But Christian, you'll be involved in singles competition against Justin Gabriel. Now, I don't want to bury Justin Gabriel, but the match we're going to have is going to end in a DQ anyway, so it won't make him look too weak. I know I'm giving away the main event, but so yeah, we'd have this match, and then have Orton interfere in the match, because we all know that usually happens. Maybe cause a disqualification, hit an RKO on Christian, so we look stronger into the pay-per-view. I think that'd be a good way to sort of end the go-home show.
Because again, when you hear someone's having a day off or night off, it's not true.
I'm having a day off. That's why I'm doing this video.
Yeah, pretty much. And Orton, we try to build up the heel character again, as you might have noticed.
Yeah.
We're thinking we're going to try and get Christian. Maybe we'll build up as a face later on.
Yeah.
But we're going to get Orton back to the heel thing. So he's done this surprise attack on Christian to finish the night.
Yep. So you got your main event there. You got your main event feud ending the show into the pay-per-view. So you got both Christian and Orton looking strong. The match announced. So you've got you've got good rivalry there. Good match dynamics there going into the match between Christian and Orton at SummerSlam. I'm guessing this will probably end their feud. I really hope it does.
Because I think without any stupid little claws or little hidden things,
singles match.
It's just a normal match, a good way to finish it off, and that'd be just the end of their rivalry.
We're booking it, so I say we finish this feud off.
It's about time. Give other people a chance, which we'll go on to next.
So that is our main event feud. So let's now go on to the mid-card / upper mid-card feuds on SmackDown. So the next feud is a feud that we did see on last week's SmackDown, well, whenever the SmackDown was before we recorded this. It won't be last week to the people watching this video now. But it was the Sheamus Barrett match. Now, we thought this could be a very good rivalry just because we feel the WWE at the moment are trying to establish Sheamus as a face, and we do want to get Barrett involved in the main event, so we feel this rivalry would be a good thing to bring both of those out. Now, on the second week, what we would do is we'd have Wade Barrett, I nearly called him Great Barrett then. Great Barrett, I'll call him Great Barrett. Wade Great Barrett cutting a promo saying that he's annoyed that he didn't finish his match with Sheamus. He's annoyed that Sheamus got the top hand because he's better than him, and he's much better, and will win the title before him and all that kind of stuff.
Because I think that first match, it ended with both unhappy. They both did not like it. So I think for Wade Barrett or for Sheamus, whoever won, they were just going to say that I think we should have another match to settle it.
So you're establishing their feud. You're establishing they're going to have another match at some point in the future. You're establishing that Sheamus is maybe turning babyface by coming out and saying that Sheamus Barrett won't beat him if they ever have a rematch. So yeah, just a basic promo. We know that Sheamus and Barrett are both very good on the mic, so why not give them a promo just to establish the rivalry rather than having a match, which is what we'll do the next week.
That is it, yeah.
Yeah. So in the next week, then what would have Wade Barrett somewhere early in the show, pretty much bursting into Teddy Long's office and saying that he wants a match against Sheamus now. But Teddy Long would say they will face each other at SummerSlam for the #1 contendership for the World Heavyweight Championship, because we need another contender, because as soon as Christian's gone, we need another guy to step up to the plate for Orton.
And the thing is, we think, with Theodore Long's mind, hopefully he'll realise that he's got two great wrestlers here who's making a great rivalry, they can put on great matches, and one of them is definitely the great one to go on and face the World Heavyweight Champion.
And we'd have Orton win the title match, just because there's so many more opportunities for Orton to face heels rather than Christian face faces.
Yeah.
So we'd have Orton win the World Heavyweight Championship match. We didn't mention this before, but basically what we'd want to do here is lay the foundations for a Sheamus face push and a Barrett main event push, which can work, which can intertwine in the following way. What would have then is after that segment, after we've had the match announced for SummerSlam 2 weeks ahead of time that they'll face in the #1 contendership match, would have Teddy Long saying to Wade Barrett, but you and Sheamus will be competing tonight in matches. Basically, he'll say it's Sheamus versus Heath Slater. We know Sheamus will beat Heath Slater clean, of course, because Heath Slater sucks. And then we also have Barrett versus Justin Gabriel. Now, again, I don't want to bury Justin Gabriel, so I'd have Barrett win by cheating or something, or some underhand heel tactics, just so Gabriel doesn't look too weak, and to give him both pushes going into the 4th week.
I know these are not the greatest matches, Heath Slater,
but it's jobbers, so...
The thing is, Heath Slater needs to somehow get involved, or he's just going to wear
This
out.
is the best way for him to get involved.
That is true. Justin Gabriel, as much as we want to see him in a title match or in a title,
we need to focus on the more important things, really, don't we?
Yes, and that's true. We need to get Justin Gable doing something.
Yeah.
So why not put him in a match against one of his ex
leaders?
Yeah.
And of course, after this pay-per-view, I'd love to try and build Justin Gable up as a baby face.
When he's got called out all these rivalries and all these matches, then work them afterwards.
So you've established now they're both looking strong. They've both had matches where they've won. However, they've done it. Wade Barrett has established himself as a heel because he's cheated to win. Sheamus is further establishing himself as a face because he's beating Heath Slater, who's a heel, clean. So then in the 4th week, then on the go-home show on Smackdown, we would have, to further establish Sheamus' face turn and Barrett and the match at SummerSlam, the #1 contendership, we'd have Sheamus coming out to have a match against someone. It doesn't really matter who. We'd have basically Wade Barrett coming out from behind him and attacking him as Sheamus did attack him in that match on the 1st week of SmackDown. So basically, what we'd want to have here is Barrett cutting some sort of short promo, finalising Sheamus' turn as a face, and establishing the rivalry by this promo, because we all know Barrett's great on the mic and can establish heel persona just in seconds.
Because the thing is, Wade Barrett is gonna need this push.
Yeah.
Because he's been waiting for this for a long time now. So I think for this to happen, it'll be good for him. And Sheamus, he needs something to go on to afterwards.
Yeah.
So I think with him now as a face, he could probably do more things on SmackDown.
Yeah, because there's definitely more heels than faces, so you're giving him more options that way, aren't you?
The
rivalries. Yeah. So that's pretty much how we'll do that. We'd have Sheamus versus Barrett. Barrett win, and then go on to face Orton at some point. It's just that we want to get some sort of #1 contendership match on there between these two guys because they definitely deserve it, I think, in my opinion. And it would definitely be a good match as well, as we saw on SmackDown. So shall we go on to our Intercontinental rivalry now? Yes, we're going to book a mid-card title rivalry.
Let's do it.
And the last SmackDown feud that we booked for SummerSlam, as I said in the previous video, is an IC Championship match, an Intercontinental Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Ezekiel Jackson. Now, what we want to do here is get the feud between Cody Rhodes and Ezekiel Jackson sorted, while also establishing a face turn for Ted DiBiase in the process against Cody Rhodes. And this is pretty much how we would do it. So on the 2nd week of SmackDown, we'd have our advertised match from last week. From the week that we had the advertised match that didn't happen between Cody Rhodes and Zeke. We'd have it on the 2nd week of SmackDown, Cody Rhodes versus Ezekiel Jackson in a non-title match where Cody Rhodes gets disqualified and blames Ted DiBiase for the disqualification, so you can tease some sort of rival, dissension between them two. Cody would get annoyed and say that next week is Ted DiBiase's last chance, and if he doesn't beat Zeke, that he will be bagged.
Because if you're like us, we got disappointed when it didn't happen, and being Christian versus Zeke.
Yeah.
So if you were like us, you would want to see this match. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting it. We want to build from it.
Yeah, and it's the perfect way to sort of begin this match, the feuds and all that, going into this match as well. Then it comes to the 3rd week then, where we would have this match between Ezekiel Jackson and Ted. We'd have Zeke win it clean. And Cody Rhodes pretty much bags Ted and says he'll show him how to win the match against Ted at SummerSlam. So you have a pre-announced match made, even though it's not the best pre-announced match booking. At least you've made some kind of mid-card title match there between Ezekiel Jackson and Cody Rhodes prior time.
The thing is, we need Zeke to continue looking strong.
Yeah.
So for him to take up Ted in probably a quick match. Mm-hmm. That will continue looking good, and then of course they will continue with Cody keeping to his word and bagging Ted.
Yeah, and it also establishes a mini rivalry there between Cody and Ted, possibly not yet, but possibly, which we would want to have at the pay-per-view.
That's
essentially. Yes. So going into the 4th week, then we would have Cody Rhodes versus Daniel Bryan. I know we've seen this match a lot, but you'll see why we're going to have this match soon. We would have Cody Rhodes expecting Ted DiBiase to help him out in a crucial part of the match, but Ted walks off, allowing Daniel Bryan to win. Here you establish that Ted has pretty much had enough with Cody Rhodes, and it allows this Ted Rhodes breakup to happen at the pay-per-view, which is pretty much what we want to happen.
Because I think by this time, the amount of bad mouthing that Ted's got, I think he should have had enough. He just says, no, I'm ready to go on my career on my own. I'm going to go off and show you that I can do it.
Yep.
So I think him leaving Cody Rhodes to get pinned by Daniel Bryan was a good way to end it.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan would get a roll-up win or something, so he can continue his Money in the Bank push to establish him as a main event guy in the future, so he can catch it in. So basically, what we've got here, we've established a Zeke Cody Rhodes match. We've now established that Ted DiBiase wants to break up from Cody Rhodes. So at the pay-per-view, we'd have Cody Rhodes versus Ezekiel Jackson. We'd have Ezekiel Jackson win it because Ted DiBiase comes in and have had enough with Cody Rhodes and beats down on him, essentially turning him face. They're learning from The Miz and A-Right. thing they did. Really get him over as a face well, so you can give him a push going into the future.
And then even though we've had Zeke win and Cody's not the champ, we've now led on to a Ted versus Cody, which I think it needs to be to put Ted over or to make Cody look stronger.
Yep, so we've got a mid-card title feud there, which I think we need on a SummerSlam, leading on to a match, a rivalry between Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase, which will essentially put Ted DiBiase over because they dropped the ball on this guy for the last 2 years.
They have, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, so should we go on to our overall thoughts then, NJ?
Let's go for it.
Yeah. So we hope you guys out there enjoyed our booking insights today. As I know, I love putting my booking brain on for WWE, as I showed in Q&A, as we both showed in Q&A 8 when we booked our own Dream SummerSlam.
Very true.
Yep. So we just it would just be interesting to see what paths WWE taken compared to the paths we've taken. But I'm pretty sure that you guys will favour us over the WWE.
Because the thing is, with the matches that we've made, it leads on to something else after SummerSlam, which I think the WWE are mainly going to be concentrating on SummerSlam itself instead of the afterwards. But we'll have to see what the differences are.
So we tried to cover as many aspects here as we could, including the booking, the storyline, the aftermath, each show that we've done. So we just hope you enjoyed our insight into each show. We booked each show like Sheldon wanted us to. So yeah, that leads us on to SummerSlam, and let's just hope SummerSlam is good, eh?
It should be, because obviously after a great Money in the Bank, with new writers, new ideas, hopefully SummerSlam 2011 would be another great pay-per-view.
And remember, we're recording this on Sunday the 24th of July, so we've still got 3 more Raws and Smackdowns when we're recording this, even though this will be released after SummerSlam.
That's true.
But anyway, we hope you enjoy it anyway. Make sure you may agree or disagree with some of our booking decisions. Make sure you put your comments in the comment section below, your thoughts, of course. Keep subscribing and liking the videos, of course. And from me, Dan, or Mr. Parkin, as you may know me, and because I know you won't hear it again, and because from NJ,
what's up?
And your elbow just clicked then as well, which is kind of weird. That's a good way to end the video, though. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and goodbye.